Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports have been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. And of course, you good old boys from Canada, we love you so much. I do apologize for messing up and jinxing your chance to get into the Stanley's Cup, but I do want to say, Canada, you'll be back next year. And Big C, there's no one I love more than you good old boys down south in the land of the free, in the home of the brave, especially on Memorial Day. I appreciate so many things about this great country, but how's it going for you good old boys, Big C?
Charlton, it is wonderful down here. We went out boar hunt yesterday.
Ouch.
And it was out for him. But I tell you, everybody enjoyed it this afternoon.
Yeah.
We went out and took care of business last night, drug him home, gutted him and everything, and got him put in that pit and everything. By the time we pulled him out of there, he was ready to fall apart.
Oh, my God.
Fell off in it.
It's so funny. I always hear, and of course today is a beautiful day, the 29th of May in 2017. I meet so many people here in California. They're on these vegan diets. They don't eat meat. And some of them say they're just a vegetarian, but they got leather shoes, Big C. I just wonder, it's a kind of a hypocrisy when I hear someone say, I don't eat meat, but I wear them on my feet, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, they got the leather shoes, they got the leather tennis
leather
shoes,
purse.
They got the leather jacket, most likely that they wear in the wintertime. It is quite ironic. Most of them even have a leather wallet in their pocket. So
yeah.
It's kind of iconic. You see the women walking around with all these different designer leather purses and everything.
Yeah.
And there's more meat on that than you're going to find on the plate.
Hey, don't even get me started on leather car seats. And I want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California. This segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. And you know that we bring that up, Big C, because everybody loves, Memorial Day weekend is really to honor all of our troops and our veterans and everyone that served this country. Freedom comes with a price. It'd be great if we could all over the world just realize that everybody's lives matter, no matter what continent you're on. We're all human, but we do know there's always politics involved in something, and I'm grateful for our military, at least ensuring the fact that we are still the land of the free and the home of the brave, especially for those who serve this country. I have family members that have also served this great country, and I don't take for granted that we have freedom because they sacrifice so much. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I share those same sentiments, Charlton. But, also, look at scenarios when people backlash at people who talk in certain ways, but they don't mean anything negative towards the military.
Yeah.
The military has done a great service for the United States throughout its history, through its early days, its beginning.
Yeah.
It's always been here to fortify this nation.
Yeah.
And when we look at the involvement and the sacrifice that so many service families have made over the years, Charlton, the decades and centuries of the United States, it's quite a tribute that you can never pay enough to them.
Oh, no.
You can always speak about it, but you can never pay enough tribute. The thing that I look at in that scenario is that we have so many people who sit back and talk military, but they will never do anything to support military.
Yeah.
In any kind of way, Charlton, whether it's a food drive, whether it's donating to a veteran who is in dire need.
Yeah.
And there's many of those. Our nation has not always supported the veterans in the proper way, Charlton. There's been a lot of talk about veterans in this country, but, the thing that I'm most shameful about is how the nation, the government, over the decades, have left so many veterans behind to be in hardship, to be in peril. We should never see a veteran homeless. This was a man or a woman who went out and laid their life on the line. And so many Vietnam veterans, I have a brother who served in Vietnam, fortunately he's not one of those in that situation, even though he was wounded over there. But there's so many veterans that, came back from Vietnam that did not receive or still haven't received any respect from our nation.
Yeah.
No support from our nation. The worst thing in the United States, Charlton, is that a veteran can be without a job when they're able to work.
Yeah.
Is that nobody will hire them. And We always hear people here on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and days like that. You're talking about how they support the veterans.
Yeah.
But how can a veteran in this United States, this great country, even an Iraq War veteran, the Desert Storm veterans, how can they be unemployed? How can this country be so insensitive that you would leave these people in hardship and their family in hardship after what they sacrificed out there dodging bullets for us as a country? And people will say, well, and let me take it to this level. As people jumped on Colin Kaepernick, saying that what he did was anti-veteran, Charlton. He did nothing against the veterans. What he did was against the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
That was his stance, was against the criminal justice system. But everyone wanted to say that Colin Kaepernick took a stance against the veterans. But those people who were saying that Colin Kaepernick took a stance against veterans do not hire veterans, Charlton.
That's true.
They don't go out and seek them out and say, hey, let me help you. Let me get you some employment. Let me find you proper shelter. They don't do that for the veterans, Charlton, not even the government.
Yeah.
And today, John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, and we know of his in-battle history.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that said he never considered signing Colin Kaepernick because he would have gotten so much backlash from his fan base because he received dozens and dozens of letters against Colin Kaepernick.
The owner of the New York Giants? The owner of the New York Giants said that?
The owner of the New York Giants. Now let me give you a little history of the owner of the New York Giants, John Mara. For our fan base that's listening, John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants. Now his most recent incident is Josh Brown, okay?
Yeah.
The kicker that he employed for 5 years, who beat the crap out of his wife over 20 times, and it was reported in police incidents, and he kept giving him a paycheck and a pay raise, Charlton, during these 20 beatings of his ex-wife, okay?
Yeah.
John Mara, it shows that John Mara is a man of high morality and character, all right?
Yeah.
This is what he did. He kept this man employed.
Yeah.
He wouldn't hire a veteran, Charlton, an Army veteran, but he would hire Joshua Brown for beating the crap out of his wife, but he wouldn't hire an Army veteran or just an armed veteran, for going out defending the country. Let me give you another. He did hire somebody that was armed, okay?
Yeah.
Plaxico Burress, all right?
Yeah.
Plaxico Burress goes in and shoots himself in a bar.
Yeah.
He walks into a bar armed, okay?
Yeah.
Shoots himself. John Mara still gives him a contract after he gets out of jail.
Wow.
Okay, because he can help him win games.
Yeah.
He hires a man who shoots himself in a bar, a crowded bar with other patrons in there that could have been injured. That wasn't enough immorality for John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants. That was okay.
Yeah.
For another guy to commit a criminal incident. Let me take you to his biggest prize, okay?
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor had multiple run-ins with narcotics and alcohol as a member of the New York Giants, okay?
Yeah.
John Mara said that was okay. Doing cocaine is fine. Being drunk is fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're playing for me. You're giving me a chance to win. I like you. Not only that, he had some sexual assault allegations that were thrown in there also. And we know how we are appalled at any abuse towards women. So he had two players that he paid a lot of money to that abused women, Lawrence Taylor and Josh Brown. That's okay in the morality of John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants.
Yeah.
He's fine with that. But a man who takes a stance against civic disobedience by law enforcement, he can't take that because he wants guys who are arrested by the police. That's the kind of people he wants on his roster.
That's
guys who commit criminal offenses. That's what John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, wants. But so he's so concerned about his fan base. Tell me, the New York Giants, Charlton, probably have a 40, 50-year waiting list, all right, for season tickets. So if some fan decides he wants to cancel his season tickets, that seat will not be empty.
It won't be empty very long, and it's interesting that you bring that up, Big C, with the this is something where every American, we talk about freedom and land of the free and home of the brave because our troops have fought for us, and oftentimes they fought because they were ordered to, not because they wanted to. They just were serving their country. That's what they signed up for, and we know it's always good and bad when that happens. But for the free people in the country, the right to exercise your freedom of speech, oftentimes people say, hey, that will cost you your job because we don't like you saying what you're free to say, like we're in North Korea or something. But I just think you brought up some very salient points about some of the people that the Giants have hired, whether they were good or bad. Everyone has a right to, if you commit a crime, you do the time and you get the chance to live as a free person again. But this thing about Colin Kaepernick and these owners who sit back and make millions.
Those are three players who committed crimes, okay?
Yeah.
Committed crimes.
Yeah.
And were charged with them.
Yeah.
And still received $1 million paychecks from John Mara, okay?
Yeah.
Multi-million-dollar paychecks from John Mara. They committed crimes. Felony crimes, Charlton.
Yeah.
John Mara said that was okay. If you're a felon, it's okay. I will hire you if you're a felon. If you beat women, you use cocaine, you shoot yourself, I will hire you. That's John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants.
Yeah.
But if you take a stance against other Americans being killed unjustly, okay, on American soil, if you take a stance against that, I can't bring you into my organization because you're looking for the right thing to be done in life.
Yeah.
Not the negative thing to be done in life.
Yeah, and I think that's something we talked about so many times where there's still two Americans, one black, one white, and oftentimes when black Americans will say anything that is going to help protect the next generation, just being conscious of what's going on in our society, oftentimes that's met with a lot of ridicule, and I just wish that would go away, but we got to keep talking about it. If not, it's not going to go away.
Well, Charlton, look at it from this perspective, okay?
Yeah.
Two of those three players that I spoke about were black, okay?
Yeah.
Plaxico Burress, Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay? And they perpetuated the black myth.
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor, the blacks are drug addicts and alcoholics, okay? Lawrence Taylor perpetuated that myth. But as long as you can play, and also the sexual assault that he was involved in.
Yeah.
But if you play for me, we won't say anything right now. Plaxico Burress, brandishing a gun in public, black myth all the time, okay?
Yeah.
Black man brandishing a gun, goes off, shoots himself in the leg, all right?
Yeah.
These are the things that white society are looking for. Well, I knew he would do that. He was black. What else do you expect?
And see, that's the thing, when people say they won't hire Colin Kaepernick because they don't want to upset the fan base that don't want to hear about Black Lives Matter. Well, what does that tell you about the fan base you have coming to your games? I just hope that at some point in time that all lives could matter enough.
About how many black lives have been lost in New York?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
In the greater metropolitan area of New York. We've seen black men killed on TV in New York. We've seen the current president of the United States ask for the death penalty for 5 young black men back in the 90s.
That were innocent.
This is the mentality of New York.
Yeah.
If you're black, your life don't matter. And so I can see John Mara's stance because that's his stance.
Yeah.
If you're black, your life don't matter because if those letters from those fans, made him feel that eerie about signing Colin Kaepernick, then his mindset is black lives don't matter. He would have to believe that wholeheartedly. But if you're abusing somebody, you're a felon, I'm okay with hiring you.
And I wonder, and you brought that put up, I wonder if he got any letters from fans because they were paying Josh Brown, who's a white man, who beat his wife over 20 times and had law enforcement call. I think 911 called over 20 times. He kept beating his wife and he kept getting the paychecks. I wonder if any of those same fans told the Mara family, if you keep hiring these guys who batter their wives, we're not going to come to your games. I wonder if he got any of those fan mails, and if he did, he didn't talk about it, Big C. So obviously we'll keep talking about it on Big C Sports. I just hope that people realize that life doesn't end just because something goes away. If they don't hire Colin Kaepernick, that's a punishment to Colin Kaepernick.
Well, think about it this way, Charlton. He also hired David Dahl, an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
DWI.
Yeah.
While under the influence.
Yeah.
Okay? Those things are acceptable.
Yeah.
Like I said, felony offenses are acceptable by John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants.
Yeah.
If you go out and commit these felonies, you're okay to be employed.
Yeah.
But if you don't commit a criminal offense and you speak about injustice in American justice system, then we can't hire you because that's too impressionable. And when you live in the New York Basin, 40 million people, Charlton?
Something like that.
In that greater area?
Yeah.
Between New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, all that area?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me you can't fill your stadium and you got a 40-year waiting list of people
who
want to be season ticket holders? John Mara is a coward. He is a total coward. He is a hypocrite.
Oh, yeah.
And he is an embarrassment to the NFL to still be an owner. And this is when we look at a commissioner, okay?
Yeah.
Your buddy, Roger Goodell, all right?
Yeah.
These are the things that he should be stepping up against, all right? Roger Goodell should go out and fine John Mara for what he stated today.
Yeah.
All right? That you can hire felons, but you can't hire guys who are not felons and you make public statements about it.
Yeah.
He should be fined for making that public statement about Colin Kaepernick, because what that does, Charlton, is drive another nail in the career of the casket of Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Because you got this guy who was supposed to be one of the leaders of the NFL making statements like that. We can't hire a guy that doesn't have a criminal history, but I would gladly hire a felon.
And see, that's the same thing, and that comes even what Donald Trump said, don't hire this black man because he stood up for Black Lives Matter. That's the same thing that we talk about. We got to shout it out because people always make it seem like the black athlete has to stand up for Black Lives Matter, or like it has to be a woman that stands up against sexism, or when a woman's battered, they always want a woman to stand up and say stop it. It's really up to the mainstream to stop it, whether it's the president of the United States. We know Donald Trump, forever how long he'll be president, he's not going to do anything but try to start wars. So the Mara family, obviously they get it passed because I guess they tacitly agree. The powers that be tacitly agree with that same behavior. It would be so ironic if the black athletes had a consciousness and boycotted the first 3 weeks of the NFL, Big C. What would that do for TV ratings and revenue? I'm sure they'd all care about black people then, Big C. They would be having people speak about Black Lives Matter.
If the black nation, as athletes of the union, and Demarius says, we're going to boycott the first 3 weeks of the NFL season because no one is willing to hire Colin Kaepernick, how much revenue would that would be like having scab games, Charlton, okay?
Yeah.
When they had the replacement players.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough white talent out there to make the NFL exciting.
No.
And I'm not being a racist.
No, if it were, they would have drafted them already, Big C. They would have been already drafted it on the payrolls. But I know people think, oh, this is not going to happen. But it's happened before. If you're an athlete, if you're a black American athlete, and everybody's different, but if you just had some owners saying, we're not going to hire anyone that says anything about Black Lives Matter because we don't care about you, your kids, or your families, but you can beat the hell out of somebody, we'll give you a job. And when they come out and blatantly say it, now if they were just quiet and said nothing, that'd be understandable, because you would have to wonder maybe they have a different motive, and you have to listen to some of these people that say, well, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, that's not good enough for an NFL job, but 2 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, we'll hire that guy, okay? But here's 2 people, Donald Trump and the Mayer family, on this great Memorial Day weekend, land of the free, home of the brave, speak your mind. They just told every African American that puts on a suit or a uniform that you don't matter unless you're playing sports for me. Shut up and get the hell out of the country. And if you say anything that's going to protect your family, we're not going to hire you. They've just told that to 80% of the people that dress up for the NFL, black men. And I wonder if some of them had enough nerve to say, wait a minute, we'll just boycott the hell out of this thing. They've done it before. They could do it again. If I don't matter and my family and my kids don't matter, then why the hell am I suiting up for your team when you just told me to shut up and play football? I just think it's more about to happen than people give it credit for, Big C. Unless you're just a dumb, ignorant jock and you care nothing about what happens to you outside of the playing field, I think there's enough pressure to have at least these owners come out and say no more discrimination. At least that would be a start, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you couldn't be more profound about what you said. I mean, and that's the one thing in unity that could be done that would stop this.
That's what unions do. Unions strike. Unions have always decided to strike for the betterment of the workforce. And, this just happened with the Mara family, and I guess it's Memorial Day that it came out. It could have come out a little earlier, just hit the news recently. But for an active owner to come out and say to the whole world that we won't hire a black man, even though he's been to a Super Bowl, we won't hire a black man because he cares about the consciousness of black people. That, to me, is a slap in the face of every intelligent person. For the dumb guys, I'm sure they don't even know what happened to them. But for people who read and people who are intelligent, that's a slap in the face. Could you imagine he would have told Dr. Martin Luther King to shut up and sit down because we don't want to hear that garbage.
He was one of those people when Dr. King was around who spoke against Dr. King. Trust me, the Bear family did. They appalled Martin Luther King back in those days. Every owner in the NFL did. They did not like his stance on society because what they were saying about Martin Luther King, you got to look at the time that he was running in the early 60s. Pre-civil rights, Charlton, is that he was making their players, feel uncomfortable because he was giving the black players a voice and making them stand up against what they had always had to accept. So the NFL owners did not appreciate Martin Luther King, and the Mariners have owned the Giants since his inception. So they were one of the owners who hated Martin Luther King and what he stood for. And they're telling you they're still hating what Martin Luther King stood for in the 60s today in 2017.
And I think that's a shame because I mean, the only conscious people I've heard talk about it that have Caucasian skin is Greg Popovich for the San Antonio Spurs and Coach Kerr. But to have another owner come out and say that we don't hire black men that are intelligent and conscious, I just think that's a slap in the face for everyone that suits up to make that man millions of dollars playing football on Sunday. And I also want to just touch on a few more things, Big C. I know we had the running of the Indianapolis 500. What a great event in the Midwest. And for the first time in history, someone from the Asian continent won. His name is Tamara Sato. He's 40 years old. He's part of the Andretti Auto Sports team. And that's the first time an Asian driver has won the Indianapolis 500 in an incredible race. And I just want to get your thoughts on what it means that now worldwide you have someone from a different continent winning something that's kind of an American iconic race. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I can tell you that the president was appalled, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm sure
he was a little ticked off.
Yeah.
Mr. Taco won the race. He actually, Jonathan, was the oldest first-time winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
I mean, this is America's iconic race, the Indianapolis 500, set for Memorial Day every year. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful race, Jonathan. I had an opportunity between boar hunting and everything. Just a couple of but to see the speed and witness the speed, and I've been there live a couple times, and the deafening roar of those four-cylinder engines running around that raceway is just phenomenal. And the speeds that they can reach up and down those straightaways, 230 miles an hour.
Incredible.
It's just a tremendous feat. To see Sacco, this was a man who stayed in the chase the entire race, Charles.
Yeah.
He had to fight himself back. He had lost the lug nut earlier in the race and was dropped back to 19th position.
Yeah.
But to come from 19th to win the Indianapolis 500, was just a phenomenal feat. This race had the most caution laps in the history of the 500. It had 50 caution laps.
Wow.
A quarter of the race was run under caution.
Yeah.
But, just phenomenal driving by these experts. I mean, people think that they can drive. Think that they can drive fast. Think that they can maneuver in and out of tight scenarios. But, to see the gutsiness and savvy of these drivers during the Indianapolis 500, Charlton, it's just a marvelous of mental and physical stature that these men have.
Yeah, it does take a lot of stamina. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. So you need athletic and event insurance. Reach out to Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio network. We get it through Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century, Big C. And if you need it, whether you're a pro athlete, a collegiate athlete, your high school athletes, even your mom and pop soccer leagues, we got you covered through Ben and Mark, through Big C Sports. And Big C, just thinking about these cars, I think they're only about 2 inches off the ground. Obviously, they're not street legal. I do see guys every now and then, these young kids that want to lower their cars so they can get that kind of speed. Obviously, the roads in the United States are not meant for that. I guess Autobahn driving, you could drive those cars legally on the Autobahn, but just the power and the force that it takes to get around the track. But something else that really caught my mind, there was an accident that happened where a car actually flipped and I think it crashed into one of the safety gates. They were able to repair the gate, but the driver walked away without a scratch. It's amazing how safe they can build these cars that can survive a crash at over 200 miles per hour. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Jonathan, that is the number one criteria of an Indy car is safety first. We all know that they do well over 200 miles an hour, but they're built for survival.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about the G-force that these drivers go through, and I saw the highlight of that crash that you were talking about, where the driver went airborne, crashed into the inner area of the raceway.
Yeah.
And the car basically disintegrated. When that car came to rest, there was about a third of the car left, Charlton.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah.
The cockpit that he was driving in, there was nothing else left.
No.
To be able to get up and walk away from that, the engineers that are involved in Indy racing, these are like guys from NASA, the ones who protect our astronauts, who build safety measures for them. This is what you have with the engineers in Indy car racing. They are safety first. I mean, they build cars, like you said, 2 inches off the ground with 230 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But they also build a car that will stand a 220 mile an hour crash.
Oh, yeah.
And let the driver survive. And so for that, Charlton, when we talk about lives matter, when we look at Americans thinking of other Americans, that's one of those scenarios.
Yeah.
That here on Memorial Day weekend is that you had Americans thinking of other Americans that helped a man man survive a crash at 200-plus miles an hour into a concrete and steel barrier and be able to get up and walk away, that is a phenomenal feat, Joe.
Yeah, definitely want to credit all the automakers, the guys that know how to build it. See, it's always this talk about American cars are second place to cars built in Europe, like BMW and Mercedes-Benz. But Americans, no matter where you are, you have the right engineering to do anything. It's just a matter of what price you want to pay for it. Not everybody can afford Cadillac, but a lot of cars are built that well, Big C. So just congratulations to Mr. Socto for winning the Indianapolis 500 and actually kissing the ground. They were kissing the ground, that brick that they put across their, Big C. Could you imagine how much saliva and lip spit they found on that walk when they kissed that red brick, Big C? Your thoughts?
I'm worried about the oil and the fuel. It's burn off rubber.
Yeah.
The contaminants I'm worried about putting on my mouth if I was doing that.
That's something. And, talking about fans, and what a great spectacle. A lot of people being there, a lot of baseball being played all over the country, and this great Memorial Day weekend. So just congratulations to all the fans that got together with family and friends and had lots of barbecues. I do want to bring up this thought that I know we have the NHL getting ready for, their big playoff for the I guess it's called the Lord Stanley's Cup. I still want to see how much moonshine can fit in that cup, Big C. And then we have the NBA Finals. But I just want to bring this up, too. I just want to say the Oakland Raiders, we were talking about the New York Giants and their fan base and how some people were saying they won't buy a ticket if you support Black Lives Matter. What in the hell is the NFL coming to when they allow the bigots to decide who they're going to listen to, Big C? And so hopefully for someone that has a conscience, I hope that this is all over the news what the Mayer family just said about not hiring a black man because he stand up for Black Lives Matter. But I'd say on the West Coast, the Oakland Raiders, even with the talk of going to Las Vegas, they've already sold out the entire 2017 season at the Oakland Coliseum. Big C, your thoughts on that?
Well, Charles, this is the cry from the fans that we don't want you to go.
Yeah.
Now, you would have always hoped that they'd have done this in the years past.
Yeah.
All right? Because you've known that the top of the Coliseum has always been topped off.
Yeah.
They built those extra seats, and those extra seats were never utilized.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's a little too late to, say you're sorry.
Yeah.
But, it's still a great support for the players.
Yeah.
The fans of the Raiders have never waned. I mean, from the inception back in the early 60s, all the way through them going to Los Angeles and coming back to Oakland, Charlton, the fans of the Raiders are some of the most iconic fans in the history of the NFL. And when you look at their merchandise, they're always number one and number two in NFL merchandise being sold. Yeah. So not only do they support the team on the field, Charlton, but they support them off the field because you think about, this merchandise goes into the owner's pocket.
Yeah.
Think about how much money that the owners have made over the decades from the merchandising of the Raiders. The silver and black is such an iconic color.
Yeah.
That regardless of where you are, people know that you're a Raider nation. You think about how many teams over the decades have changed their colors. There's about 5 teams in the NFL that have never changed their colors, Charlton.
Yeah.
And the Raiders are one of those teams that they stayed synonymous with the color. Even Dallas Cowboys, number 2 in marketing merchandise, have changed their colors from the inception when they came into the league.
Yeah.
But, when the Raiders go throwback, all they got to do is wear what they wear.
Yeah.
That's
something else you brought up about that, Big C, even if you look at the Denver Broncos, they went from having the D on the side of the helmet with a horse in the middle of it to some type of the side of a head of a horse now on the side of the helmet for the Broncos. A lot of teams in the league have changed even the logo on the side of the helmet. And so to see how the Raiders...
The Denver went from a dark blue helmet from their inception, like they wear now, with an orange D, to a light blue helmet with a D. Okay, they went from the Orange Crush uniforms that they wore, the orange jerseys that were so synonymous with the blue pants, to what they wear now. They've changed.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs have their original colors that they came into the NFL with.
Yeah.
So when you think about the West, it's only the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West who have their original colors.
Yeah.
Everybody else, Charlton, has changed.
They've changed.
And for marketing reasons, they think because of they change, that marketing, they're going to get better. You got to look at teams that have stayed the same and they've never lost interest from the fans. You think about the modern-day Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
From the 60s
the inception,
on. Their color's been the same. They've been the same Green Bay Packers.
Cleveland Browns.
Merchandising sale hasn't fell off, Charlton.
Yeah. Same thing with them. I think the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, a lot of them have the same thing. The LA Rams, I think that the LA Rams are going to come back with the white stripes on the helmet. They've gone to the gold stripe on the helmet. I think they're going to go with the blue and white stripe now, but they can always change it. I guess everybody in the NFL is trying to be like Oregon, where they can have different uniforms to sell more merchandise in Big C. But I do respect the Raider fan. You gotta feel for them, though, to have their hearts ripped out, knowing that they're going to leave you. They've already put a date on it. They're going to move to a more beautiful home just about 600 miles away, Big C. I don't think that's fair for them, but nothing's fair in the world of sports. I know we have the Stanley Cup tipping off, the good old boys down south in Nashville. I hear, just what I hear on the wire, there's a lot more moonshine being ordered up for you good old boys down south. I guess it's going to be for the Nashville Predators, so congratulations to them, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Should be a great NHL series. But I know, Big C, as we get ready to close out this great show Memorial Day weekend, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers looking for the trilogy. Just want to get your thoughts on which one. You'll probably watch both events, Big C, but which one gathers the nation's attention more, the NHL or the NBA, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, right now, the NBA is taking a week to promote itself. You know, you think about that?
Yeah.
It's almost like a Super Bowl hype that's going on right now.
Yeah.
With this championship series that's going to start, what next month?
Yeah, next couple days, yeah.
It's going to start next month, Charlton.
Yeah.
This championship series will start next month. But you think about it. It's giving all these sports writers and reporters an opportunity to build a story against people, not for people, but against people. And everybody right now is building a story against Kevin Durant, okay?
Yeah.
And you know, Kevin Durant is not the problem with the NBA, all right? He is not the problem with the NBA having super teams or not having enough super teams. This comes from the commissioner's office.
Yeah.
This comes from GMs. You got to look at the GMs in these various cities where you have teams that are struggling all the time below the Mason-Dixon line, Charlton.
Yeah.
Who can never have a winning season. That comes to the GMs and the owners why players don't want to come to your city.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. I mean, you think about even when LeBron left, okay, Cleveland, Dan Gilbert, what did he say about LeBron? I mean, he put out an open letter.
Yeah.
Damn, they're racist.
Yeah.
You know, it was basically a racist rant about how can this black man leave me?
Yeah.
Cost me all of these millions of dollars. Now my franchise is only worth half of what it was because he chose to take his, his business savvy elsewhere.
In the land of the free and the home of the brave, of all places, Big C.
Years ago, before free agency, Charlton, athletes didn't have that luxury to say, I want to go work elsewhere. I don't want to work for you any longer. It was that you were owned by a team, period. You never got a chance to have free agency to sign with somebody else.
Yeah.
You spent your career with a team until they got tired of you and they would cut you. If you were lucky, somebody would pick you up in the latter years. But, you know, how much backlash was there, you know, almost a decade ago when LeBron left Cleveland?
Yeah.
It's been that long, you know, about 8 years now.
Yeah.
Decided to take his town to South Beach. You know, he wanted to go help make a super team.
Yeah, and I understand he had the same desire to build a super team. And just think about it, too, Big C. I want to bring something up real quick before we close out. I know with the thing of Colin Kaepernick, you just reminded me about this, how the Mara family said they don't want to hire Colin Kaepernick because he cares about Black Lives Matter, Big C. I think it was LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Paul. They stood up at the Oscars, and it was the ESPYs, actually, and they did a tribute to Black Lives Matter. And mainly it's just to bring attention to the crime that happens against black Americans, whether it's internal or whether it's external, Big C. We still got to put an end to it. No one told them to shut up and get the hell out of the country because they stood up, but they all said the same thing. They care about Black Lives Matter. Colin Kaepernick is the one that took a lot of the flack, but he's done more than all of them when it comes to helping out, you know, kids of color, young, poor people. So I hope that everybody can just realize that we're in the land of the free, the home of the brave. You don't have to like what people say, but at least we should have the freedom to say it. Big C, as we close out today's program, what are you looking forward to on this great Memorial Day holiday in the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, Charlton, like you said, I'm looking forward to the kickoff of Stanley Cup tonight. You know, this is going to be second cup that the Bengals have been in.
Yeah.
An opportunity to go back to back, but also the first cup for the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
And you know, I felt like a predator out there the other night.
On those hogs.
I know how hungry they are.
Be careful for the animal rights activists down there, Big C. With the leather purses and shoes, of course.
But, when you think about it, you can spend your entire career, never have an opportunity to play for a championship.
Yeah.
And we see the Penguins going back to back. But the Nashville Predators, 18 years of existence. You think about how many players have gone in and out of that organization since its conception, Charlton.
Yeah.
And never had a chance to play for Lord Stanley's Cup.
Yeah.
But now you have an opportunity with this current team and led by Subban, a player who was the most popular player in Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
Who did so much community work, and the organization traded him.
Yeah.
Because he was this African-American player who became an iconic figure, and the team thought that he was bigger than the team until they shipped him out of town.
Wow.
Ironically, the Montreal Canadiens, one of the pillars of the NHL, will be sitting at home watching T.A. Subban tonight as that puck drops in the first game of Lord Stanley's Cup.
Yeah.
Now they have to question their future. If they had kept T.K. Subban in Montreal, this African-American player, would they not be playing in Stanley's Cup instead of being spectators, Charlton?
Well, Big C, that's a good point. I thought he came down here in the States because he wanted to hear us sing, "Whoa, Canada." You're saying it's because of something different than that, but Big C won't have to take it at that. I do want to say for everyone, please enjoy this beautiful holiday that we have in the land of the free, the home of the brave. Happy Memorial Day weekend. For everybody out there in this country, please be safe out there. As we always tell you, there's never any reason, never any excuse for domestic violence. No woman should ever have to deal with that garbage. If you see anyone in trouble, just call 911. Even if she's married to the husband for the New York Giants, no one should have to put up with that type of garbage. And as we always tell you on every program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.